Have you ever tried to talk things out in your marriage to solve a marriage problem and felt like you're getting nowhere? Hello there, and thank you for taking a moment to watch this video. We all know that communication is important in any relationship, but it's not always the answer because there's a big difference between communication and effective and authentic communication. Most people who've encountered challenges in their marriage sort of default to trying to talk things out because we figure that if we can make our points, then we'll be able to rationally address the situation or convince our partner toward our line of thinking. This is completely logical. However, the problem is that in many cases, this is an emotional argument, not a logical one. And trying to rationalize in an emotional situation is often the worst thing to do, at least in the immediate term. I remember being in situations like this with my wife. We'd get into an argument over something silly like dishes being left in the sink or different opinions about how we deal with an issue with our kids. We'd disagree or get defensive about whatever our perspective might be, and then pretty soon the entire history of everything that I'd ever done or she'd ever done would get dredged up. From there, it would only take a minute or two before we were in a full-blown argument with all of the past hurts, anger, mistrust, fears, worry, depression, and guilt keeping us both in a cycle of misery. Now, you and your partner might argue about money, feeling not appreciated, feeling misunderstood, losing trust, infidelity, or many other things, but I'd be willing to bet that you have a similar pattern going on in your relationship. Like most people, my wife and I went to a counselor to get help. We met with a counselor every week for about an hour and tried to talk things out, but now with a counselor. Although we had a referee for the conversation, the problem was that it really wasn't much different. In some cases, she'd feel like the counselor was taking my side. In other cases, I'd feel like I was being attacked and told that I was completely wrong. In that year, we'd gone to 3 different counselors and 2 different ministers. In some cases, we took away a nugget here or there, but in some cases, it just made things worse. Then, one day, I came home and my house was empty, my wife had moved out, and all of her stuff was gone. Unfortunately, what they don't tell you is that talking things out isn't enough. You also have to realize that working on your marriage is only as good as your mindset and every other area of your life. Anyone can focus on their marriage for a little while and see some positive improvements. However, your other areas of life have to be there as well, because any little challenge in another area of life can derail progress in your relationship. For example, if you have an issue at work, with the kids, your family, or even an illness, if these areas of life are out of balance or our overall mindset is poor, it will impact your marriage, and then you're back on the roller coaster. When I was encountering issues with my wife, it was always my job that was causing me stress. I'd have a challenging day at work and come home in a less than stellar mood, and every interaction that I had with my wife was colored by that stress that I'd had during the day. It's for this reason that we believe marriage success requires a holistic approach. You've obviously got to deal with the real root cause of your issues, but you also need to be showing up spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically as the best version of yourself across all areas of your life. Think about it this way. Do you remember how you were when you and your partner first met, fell in love, and decided to get married? How were you in your relationship at that time? I'd imagine that you might have had less stress, fewer demands, you may have been in better physical shape, and you probably made your partner feel like the centerpiece of your life. Guess what? This is what your partner is expecting today. And this is how you need to show up in your marriage today. So you've got to make sure that all areas of your life are supporting that, or else you're just going to sabotage yourself. Now, I know that this might sound difficult or even impossible, however, it's really not. To move forward authentically, you first need to move beyond the past hurts, arguments, issues, things that were said, and the past patterns of behavior that caused your issues. This is often the biggest challenge for most couples because we find ourselves reliving the past over and over again. I know that this was certainly the case for me and my wife. Maybe I'd do something like leave the dishes in the sink or leave my dirty socks on the floor. And then this cascaded into her saying something like, "Why do you always do this? You're such a pig," followed by every example of times where I'd done other things in the past to hurt or upset her. Now, I was just as guilty of the same stuff. We all are. Sometimes I'd take out my frustration on her and say things that I shouldn't have said or did things that I shouldn't have done. I remember one time being so angry that I threw a plate of steaks, not at her, but in the kitchen. I'm sure that you can imagine that every time something negative happened in our marriage, she'd bring up how I threw the plate of steaks, and it would just keep us circling the drain. Nobody wants to relive their worst moments in life because they point out where we fail to live up to our own standard. So what do? That's right. We'll dig up their dirty laundry. A really important concept to take away from this video is that no matter what argument you have with your partner, you'll never win, but nor will they. There's only first loser and second loser. Your point may be the superior point. However, if you had to get into a knockdown, drag-out fight to achieve this, as a whole, you've really lost. Further, you can't create a lasting and deeply connected marriage by looking in the rearview mirror, dredging up the past. It only serves to put you and your partner in an emotional state where resolving whatever challenge you may be experiencing becomes impossible. The past is really only useful for learning, and that's it, even if it's what not to do. If you're constantly going back into the past to reinforce how you're right and they're wrong or whatever, then your present and future will be just repeat performances of the past. So if you want different results than you've been getting, you need to do different things than you've ever done. Communicating effectively is one aspect of this. However, there's a lot more to it. You also have to develop the skills and habits that don't just keep couples together for the kids and finances, they actually create true intimacy, mutual understanding, and passion. Anything else will not produce consistent results. In the book called The Power of Habit, author Charles Duhigg rightly points out that our habits create our experience of life. If we have positive habits that support our growth, our life will reflect this. However, if our habits are less than optimal and are inconsistent with our desired life, then our life's going to reflect that too. If you're experiencing challenges in your marriage or relationship today, just take a moment to really review all of your daily habits. I'd imagine that you probably get up, take a bath or shower, maybe you exercise, maybe you have a devotional practice, and so forth. However, our habits are more than just our daily routines. They also include our habits of language and our habits of where we put our focus. People who have successful, happy, and resilient marriages have very specific language that they use when they speak to themselves and when they speak to their partners. They also focus on different things than people who have challenging relationship situations. So take an opportunity today to just consider your habits, including the things that you do, the habits of things that you say, and your habits of focus. Now, as you consider these habits, just notice any of those habits which cause you to have negative feelings or emotions. Which ones cause you to think about other things like something that you should have done, could have done, or would have done? Notice any words that you use more commonly, particularly any negative words. Also, notice what you're focusing on. Those things that we focus on that cause us to be happy are supportive of our growth. Those things that cause us to feel negative will hold us back. It's also important to note that successful people spend the majority of their time focusing on positive aspects of the present moment, because the present is the only place where they can create results. They're also more focused on what they have versus what they don't have. In fact, most, if not all, of the most successful people in the world agree that a habit of gratitude is one of the most important things that they do on a daily basis. Some have gratitude journals. Others take a moment to consider things that they're grateful for. We recommend using a journal and writing 3 things down every day that you're grateful for and why you're grateful for them. Then periodically throughout the day, just taking an opportunity to review those things that you've jotted down. If you do just this one small exercise for 1 week, I pretty much guarantee that you'll see positive improvements in the quality of your life and relationship. It may seem simple, however, the thing that you need to remember is that the quality of our lives and relationships are directly correlated with our ability to do the simple things. As Jeff Olson says in his book called The Slight Edge, these are the things that are easy to do, but they're also easy to not do. Creating a lasting, loving, and deeply connected marriage is really all about doing those little things on a daily basis and having all of our other areas of life and our mindset to support us. This is often why our relationship clients have massive improvements in their careers, health, spirituality, family life, and other areas, because in all cases, they were out of balance. So I hope that you've enjoyed this video and that it's given you some specific things that you can do today to really begin to improve the quality of your life and relationship. If you'd like some additional tips and tricks to help you on your relationship journey, then I'd invite you to download our ebook, Avoiding the 10 Deadly Sins of Marriage. Set up a free session with me or one of our other relationship strategists. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give us a like or a share. We'd really appreciate it. Good luck, God bless, and as always, live empowered on purpose.